What's up, game? Brian here at 3TR, and I got another top 10 video for you, and this time I'll be giving you my top 10 favorite guilty pleasure movies. Now, this list was requested to me by a good friend of mine named SlowRider1978, and give a shout out to him real quick. I would like to let you know that video you requested, I'm going to have it up tomorrow, so be prepared to download it and do the editing that you want to do. Now, to start off kind of on the weird side with my number 10. My number 10 is Wild Wild West. Now, I recently just saw After Earth, and I'm actually happy to say that I actually enjoyed watching Wild Wild West more than I did After Earth. It was funny. Yes, it was kind of stupid. The idea of having them being able to create a steampunked 80-foot tarantula that could fire fireballs is a bit preposterous, but I think just the enjoyment factor in the comedy made it an entertaining experience, even though it did bomb pretty badly at the box office. Number 9 on my list is Star Wars Episode 1. Now, I know the prequels get a bad rap, but some of you do know that Episode 3 is my favorite out of all the Star Wars films. And in terms of Episode 3, that was actually the first Star Wars film I actually got to see in theaters, and I was only 9 at the time, so as a kid you could tell I probably enjoyed it. But as I got older, I can acknowledge the problems, but there are a couple of ideas that I personally do believe were done very well, and he had a good idea of how to really illustrate it, but it just wasn't executed as well as it could have been. But I do believe with a different director, it could have been a much better film. Number 8 on my list is Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skulls. Now, again, another movie that George Lucas and Steven Spielberg were kind of a part of. A lot of people didn't like it. I personally had fun with it. I can acknowledge a lot of the stupidity of it, like Indiana Jones hiding in a lead line, refrigerator surviving an atomic explosion, all that kind of stuff. I understand it's kind of wrong, but it is still Indiana Jones, and he is somewhat doing what he does best, even if they want to take a science fiction path. But let's just hope if they do an Indy 5, they kind of go back to his roots. And less CG, please. Those monkeys did not look very good. Number 7 on the list is actually 2 movies. Now, I don't really care what most of you guys think about Michael Bay, but I will state this to the number that I do believe that Transformers 1 and 3 were entertaining to me. 2 was an abomination. And I really just cannot decide which one I liked more. I mean, I think I liked 1 a lot more because it was the first, so there was a lot of visual looks that I had never seen before. I think the story in 3, although some people thought it didn't make any sense, I understood it to the fullest, and I had a lot of fun. And I know I might get some hate for this, but I will openly state that I thought the final battle in Transformers Dark of the Moon was a lot better than the final fight in the Avengers. Shoot me if you want, but I stand by that statement. Number 6 on the list is Alien vs. Predator. Now, I know some people really hated this movie. The idea of trying to take the 2 greatest, I'd say, horror monsters. Well, you can't really call the Predator a horror monster, but probably 2 most iconic, like, alien creatures, and putting them in a movie would be like a, you know, bread and butter experience. But it really wasn't. It had a lot of problems. It had the whole buddy system with the last human girl and the last Predator, which some people thought was stupid. But again, this is just another movie where it's just for, you know, laughs and giggles, I would say. I had fun with it despite its flaws. If a movie can at least give me the idea that they're trying something, then that's enough for me to look past a lot of their major flaws. But I do have my limits. But I think just, you know, it's harmless to me. I mean, I've read the comic books, and trust me, the comic books are much better handled, but, you know, it's certainly better than the second one. I'll say that. Number 5 on the list, and we are now getting into video game movies. Number 5 on the list is Prince of Persia. Now, I really don't understand why a lot of people didn't like this one. I thought it was pretty faithful to the source material, although it was a little weird how Jake Gyllenhaal was playing a Persian, and how Ben Kingsley was obviously going to be the villain. They were trying to say, oh no, maybe he's the villain, maybe he's not the villain, but he clearly is the villain. And to be honest, the ending was actually exactly like the game, and for those of you who have seen the movie and have played the first Prince of Persia game, which I believe came out on the PlayStation 2, that version, and you know it actually did stay true to the original story, and they did add some elements that I did think were very cool and were welcome addition to the overall Prince of Persia storyline. Number 4 on my list is Super Mario Brothers. Yes, I know, Super Mario Brothers. Kind of weird, the Goombas look stupid, the Mushroom Kingdom looked like a very depleted New York City, and King Koopa is a human who gets shot by two, I don't know, what were those stupid little Nintendo toy things? I can't think of what they were called. If you know what their name was, please tell me in the comments down below. But yeah, it's just another one of those movies where, you know, it's just so bad, even for an iconic character like Mario, that it's just enjoyable. And even now, I can still sit down and watch it with a straight face. Number 3 on my list is Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Now, this is in no ways not even close to how good Mortal Kombat 1 was, and it kind of just made a lot of really big major story mistakes. I mean, they tried to mix the storyline of 2 with 3. They threw in all these characters that didn't even have much time to develop, but I will say the fights were good. I would say my favorite fight in that movie was probably seeing Scorpion and Sub-Zero fight, and the music for that fight was awesome too. And I would even say I had one of my best childhood experiences watching that particular fight scene with my brother. But that's a story for another time. Number 2 on my list is, now we're getting into comic book movies, is Sylvester Stallone's Judge Dredd. Now, yeah, I know what you're thinking. A Rob Schneider movie and Sylvester Stallone's "I am the law" kind of gesture is kind of hilarious, but it's you know, it's just one of those movies where, you know, if nothing else is on and I'm just bored, and Judge Dredd just so happens to be on, I'll watch it. It does have some real solid action, although the whole idea that, you know, I'd say maybe the first 15 minutes in, Dredd takes his helmet off, which is a major no-no in the comic books. But luckily, they did redeem themselves with Carl Urban's version of Dredd 3D, which is an awesome movie, and I think that was one of the best movies I saw last year, so Judge Dredd. And number 1, my number 1 guilty pleasure, I've already reviewed this film for my Batman month, and as you can tell, Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin, it really did announce the death of the Batman series in terms of the direction they were going, in terms of trying to make it too kid-friendly and too much for the family. However, it did make a lot of money, and it really did open the door for Christopher Nolan. I mean, let's be honest, people. If Batman had not hit the low depth that he had, then I don't think Christopher Nolan would have been interested in the project, and we never would have had Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. So you really can thank the death of Batman for giving a chance for him to be resurrected and become even greater than any version of Batman that has existed in the past. And with that, those are my top 10 guilty pleasure movies. So tell me, what are some of your guilty pleasure movies? And trust me, I won't judge, even if you put something that's quite scary. And if you like this video, please like, comment down below, and please subscribe to check me in my future top 10 videos, movie and video game reviews. And like always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.